All right, so now let's take a look at using something called the text field delegate and how we can use that to use that return button that I was showing you on our app and get rid of this button here because I don't want to have a button on my screen. I want to have the text field do the work. So let's do this here. First things first, let's delete this button. Okay, so I'll show you a couple things here. So when I delete the button, again, it gets the button, it's no longer on my storyboard. Let's make sure our connections are good here. So let's click on the yellow view controller icon. Then let's come over top here and click on our connections inspector just to make sure we are clear and that button's not lingering. So we're good here. All right, so let's go back into our code. And then we're going to get rid of this stuff as well. We don't want that to be in here in any shape or form. We're not going to use a button, but we're still going to get the same result. Okay, so back on our storyboard, we still have the label. We still got the text field. All right, so we got to hook this text field up to a delegate. So the first step is to control drag from the text field to the view controller icon, our circle. We're going to go down to outlets and we're going to choose delegate. Okay, so go ahead and click on that. You'll notice it hooks up delegate right there. So what a delegate is basically it's brings in a bunch of tools for the text field to use, some methods and things the text field can access. So the first part again is control drag from here and hook it up. Let's go inside our code and let's turn it on in our code. So in the class line, we're going to bring in the UI text field delegate as such. So make sure you choose this one, UI text field delegate. All right, so again, that's basically bringing in all these methods for text field that we can use. All right, to basically use on our app. All right, so what we're going to do here is well, I'll put a comment here. So text field delegate methods. All right, so now having UI text field delegate up here, if I just type in text field, you can see I get all these options of different things I can work with based on having the delegate available. So the one I want you to choose is text field should begin, which one do I want here? Should return, excuse me. So text field should return. I'll keep typing that in right here. So I want you to look for this one. Text field should return. Okay, so this is a function that the text field is going to return, some information here. So let's set this up. All right, so very similar line of code is going to go here. So this basically is going to make that return button on the text field that we saw on the keyboard work. Okay, so if I were to type in my label dot text is equal to my text field dot text. Okay, I'm going to get that first line of code, but I'm going to get an error here in a moment. Here it is because let's see what that says. So it says missing return and function expected to return bool. So that's referring to this. So this function has to return a value because it has this arrow. It says it's got to return a type bool. So to make that work, we just have to type in return and then true, because bools are either true or false. And this one we do want to return something, so we're going to say true. Okay, so that error message will now go away. There it goes. So now let's give it a run. So again, we don't have a button in place, so let's see if this is how this works here. So I'm going to run my iPhone 6, build this up, and show you what we got. Okay, so click in the text field. I gotta get my keyboard, so I'm going to type in hello. That's when I click return. You can see hello shows up here. Pretty nifty, huh? So again, I can type in anything up here, hit return, and then it's going to register that. So we still got a couple issues here. So the first one is my text field is still showing information. So again, I have to now go in there and manually delete all that. I don't like that. Okay, I want to be able to again, just type something when I hit return, have it go away. Okay, and then also my keyboard stays up. So I want to get that when I hit return. I want that keyboard to disappear. All right, so let's make that happen here. All right, so let's stop running this here. Okay, so we're going to be inside this method here. So the first thing is let's clear out the text field. So it's pretty simple. One line of code. If I go my text field dot text is equal to an empty string. All right, let's see what happens here now. Okay, so let's see if that's basically saying I want the text field to be empty when I hit the return button. All right, so we'll let this load on up. All right, so let's give this a shot here. So let me get my keyboard up. I hit return. And there you go. All right, so you'll notice now it goes away, so much easier now for the user to type something in here because now again I don't have to delete it, it's already going away. Okay, so problem one solved. Now what if you want to get the text field to go away when I hit return? Because right now it's staying up here, and for the user, again, that might be a bit of a nuisance. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to go ahead and stop it. I'm going to come inside here, okay, and then there's a couple ways you could do that here. So what we'll do here, let's see here. I'm going to think about which one way I would like to show you here. So there's something called resign first responder is a function we're going to use. I'm going to get an error right now because I haven't used it correctly. But this basically, the text field's referred to as the first responder. So if I were to type in my text field dot resign first responder, okay, so let's go ahead and see what happens here. So resign first responder is treating the keyboard as a responder. So let's run this. Alright, so here we go. Keyboard's up. So let's go ahead and type in hello. Click on return, and you can see it now resigns and goes away. So when I bring it back up, you're so amazed. Wow, I click on return. Keyboard it disappears, and now again it's only coming up when I click in there, but once I click on return, it's now going, it's disappearing. So now we've got a pretty good looking interface here. Okay, so you can see 3 lines of code here do some pretty good stuff here, all in this text field delegate. So again, anything inside here is going to happen when I hit that return button. So kind of neat. Makes things a little easier, and I think sometimes looks a little better when you don't have as much stuff on the storyboard, so you don't need that extra button kind of cluttering things. You got more space for the layout and other things you might want to put out there. All right, so before we go here, just a couple other things to talk about with this text field. All right, so when you choose the text field and you come to the attributes inspector, you've got some different options here that in case you want to work with here. Okay, so first off, okay, these options here, so you got keyboard type, so you can work on, if, the keypad that comes up, you can, base it off of Twitter, email, phone pad, so you can mess around with those options. Return key, right now it says return, but you could have it say go, you could say join, so maybe if you were having an app where like it was a username and they were joining something, you could use the join one. So when you make these changes here, it's going to change the keyboard type. All right, spell check, you could put that on. So you could go around and play around with these here when you get to that. Secure text entry, so password protecting of things. So they got some different options here for you to mess around with. But again, that's where you can customize your keypad, a little more. So just keep that in mind when we start working on problems. But anyway, that's all for right now. So again, I think at this point I'm gonna give you a chance to work on a little review problem to practice this stuff. But again, if you have questions, just ask. But that's just a little insights on how to use a text field. All right, guys, we'll see you next time.